tea time on true crime. Mugs up, pull that seat right out. You need to tune in, lean in close. We're about to sort this out. So much ish to puzzle through. Whispers, rumors, tangled doubt. Come with me, we'll walk it back till every truth steps out. Crimes and lies and alibis. Spill the story, sip that hit. Come have tea with me tonight. We'll find the cracks in every print. Crimes and lies and alibis. Pour it slow, let's chase that sin. Come have tea with me, alright. You get a hint, you get a hint, oh yeah. You get a hint. Scribbled on a napkin, name circling like steam, motive hiding in the margins, right between the scenes. Every side has got a secret, every secret leaves a trace. Stay a while, we'll piece it together, case by case by case. Crimes and lies and alibis. Spill the story, sip that hit. Come have tea with me tonight. We'll find the cracks in every print. Crimes and lies and alibis. Pour slow, let's chase that scent. Come have tea with me, alright. You get a hint, you get a hint.
Hello, welcome back. 7:42 on July 28th. It's been a couple of days. I thought I'd let it settle after my last live. It's been a little quiet out there. A few people come back looking for receipts, which I will bring. I've got a packed show for you guys this evening, yet again. I hope you're ready. Well, don't say I don't poke bears for a living. So much so, I got my bear spray. Thought I should get it out, looking for my vape, which I still can't find. Driving me crazy. Well, welcome in, everyone. I'll go through my hellos in a minute, but what we have on tap for today is we're going to talk about Malehya. We're going to talk about the shenanigans that people are putting out there. We're going to talk about her upcoming education. We're going to talk about the psycho that she's enduring right now. We're going to talk about the truth about the pink blanket. So yesterday, I'm going to say we had a powwow. Some of the most intelligent women in Nova Scotia with tons of integrity got together and some great conversations were had, and I will leave it at that. But one of the conversations that came out was the truth around the pink blanket. Very interesting. So we'll talk about that. Go through some Anita Maxwell conversations. I'm going to show some Brandon emails. And Charmaine said on her live last night that she was going to bet $100 that Sunny never said that she earned $3,400 and that there was nothing even remotely close to earning that. Well, people should know by now that I don't say anything unless I have the receipts. So I will show you the clip where Sunny says that she earned $3,400 that month. And you can do with that what you will. This isn't to throw Sunny under the bus. This is simply to say what YouTube creators make on covering cases such as Jack and Lilly Sullivan. Monsters of Chaos has been running with some more bullshit, as usual. Nothing surprises me there. They want to think that I've known Cheryl for years, and I've only met her this year. They want to say I'm friends with Darren, which Lord, if I have friends like Darren, I don't need enemies. Let me just say that. I certainly wouldn't need bear spray, would I? So yeah, they have a problem with me saying that I donated almost actually more than my entire YouTube income in March on Lily's birthday. So I downloaded the receipts today. So I'm gonna have to crop them sometime while I'm showing you other clips, just so that it doesn't show my name and address on there, even though it doesn't show Shannon Ramsey Hoyt, so I gotta debunk that. So yeah, I'll show those because apparently they've given me a deadline. I don't know if they're trying to intimidate me in some way, but I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for you guys so that I can maintain my integrity with you all, so that you know that when you watch these channels and they have something to say about me, that I'm telling you the truth and they can stick it up their ass. Some more Daleen recordings that have never been heard before. And this morning, while I was having lunch with a very dear friend, Crime Lines and Lies was doing a live. And wouldn't you know, the Picto expert, the Picto picker, Kent Corbett was on there. And Lord, did he get reamed out by a Miss Annette Conway. She doesn't like me. That's okay. I like her. You can join the Scissor Sister Club if you want. I'll take you in. So we'll play a bit of that because it was pretty spicy, I will say. So that's what we have on the agenda for today. And let me start saying my hellos. Tammy was first in the chat. Kelly OG, my little bulldog. She does make me laugh. Shy, good to see you. Misty Mountain, my wonderful mod. Daisy May, hello. Camilla, greetings. Great to see you as well. Melissa McPhee and Cool J17. I shall bring that truth serum. I emailed you, by the way. Camilla Eisner. Wonder how many bullies there will be tonight. I used to enjoy the friendly banter on lives, but not so much anymore. Yeah, I mean, Anus Beater. I saw his comment where he was talking about saying that I was discussing fellatio on my live, but I think you'll find what happened was some twat waffle. That was for you, Patriot Girl. Decided to come on the chat and ask for advice on that. So I gave it. So yeah. Acadian Girl, good to see you. And the Drone Grid, always a pleasure, sometimes a pain. Oh dear. Acadian Girl is waiting for another storm in Edmonton. Ariel Sasha, good to see you. Lori, Nova Scotia, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Artemisia Sage has got her peach iced tea ready. I've got some Coca-Cola, not to be confused with cocaine. I'm sure they'll say I was doing cocaine anyway, because apparently I do all those things. Just Janie, hello, good to see you. And Liz Nova Scotia Strong is showing the handcuffs and the mad dog love. Couldn't agree more. Carrie HS, good to see you. Paris of the Prairie, hello everyone, good to see you. Carrie, where is my membership? Was it canceled? Yes. So what likely happened is when I took a break and I took my channel down and hid it, most people's memberships got cut off. So if you want to become a member, you got to re-sign up, I'm afraid. Sorry. Burrito Para, good to see you. There is my wife. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Great powwow yesterday, was it not? Mr. Hemi, good to see you. Giving you the side eye as well. Always. Robin Lynn. It's Mrs. Wheeler. Oh, hey, Mrs. Wheeler. Long time no see. Hope you're doing all right. Long time no see. Um, who gets the $100? So, Charmaine, when I show the receipts of Sunny saying that she earned $3,400, I would like that $100 that you bet donated to Please Bring Me Home. Thank you. Cindy Sperry. Am I related to Darren? Oh, Lord. Lord. I don't have rosacea, and I feel like it's like a hereditary condition, so. Shalana Lama, listen, Miss Hoyt. Yeah. Well, I've decided that Shannon Ramsey Hoyt is going to be my alter ego. She's going to be the bad Shan. Carrie, we watched you donate the funds live on the stream. I know you did. And most people know what's what. But there are a group of individuals out there that are hell-bent on discrediting everything I say and do, twisting it, manipulating it because they are narcissists. There is a group of them and they flock together. Oh yeah, I'm a distant cousins of Kent's. Jesus. Jesus. I think you'd have to check me into the psych ward if I ever found out that I shared DNA with Kent or Darren. Yeah. I thought everyone in Nova Scotia is related. Yes, but only in Pictou County. Kidding. Only Lansdowne. Miss Meg GC, hello. Misty does do much behind the scenes, but so do you, Damien. Yeah, anus beater. Just for those who don't know who anus beater is. That would be Angus Beaton, one of my biggest fans. He's like Ron Mexico's brother. Maybe they're scissor brothers. Wouldn't that be spicy? I'm sure there is Cool J loads of bullies lurking in here. But just remember, if you come at me, I shall return the favor. I have now become Shannon Ramsey Hoyt, and she's not as nice as Shenanigans. The word twat waffle always makes you snicker. Yeah, it makes me snicker too because bless her, Patriot girl changed her name to Shan Twat Waffle. Very original. Should check out her channel. It's dedicated to hating me as well. Her and Wolfie should get together. They would make the perfect couple. Emerald Jane, hello, good to see you. Yeah. Yep. Sherry Lee Thomas, good to see you. Yeah, so sorry about that, Carrie. I apologize. If you have to renew and anyone else who has to renew, I did have to take a break. So, but you know, I came back with a vengeance. Donna Landry, long time no see. Good to see you. And BO8, am I related to Gordon Ramsay? Well, there is something that Gordon Ramsay and I have in common. One, we say fuck a lot. Two, I'm not telling you. Some of these fools are full-fledged sociopaths. Absolutely. It was funny when he brought up the syphilis. Yeah. Yeah, it was. You know, if it was different circumstances and that I didn't suspect him in some sort of possible involvement in the disappearing of 2 missing children, it's possible we could have had a coffee. But, he kind of ruined it with calling me a whore and a slut and a bitch and a horse face and that I didn't know anything and, just generally being a misogynistic idiot. But, I'm sure deep, 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 deep down, there's something good in there. Brothers don't scissor, they sword fight. All right. So, like, instead of thank you, I now have to envision that. You think you love Miss White? Aw, nice. They don't. Okay, Lord. Okay, let's get back to the program here. Angus Beaton was all wound up last night on Shares. He can't figure out that there is more than one possible narrative to this case. It's a shame. I know quite a few Beatons, usually good people. Yeah, when they're not beating around a bush. Yeah, when Darren made that syphilis joke, I nearly peed too. Yeah, I almost did too. I had to go pee at the time. Emmy, stop it. Stop it, or you're going to have to go wait in the car. Oh. Est-ce que c'est vrai? Scott et Mike? Le frottage. Oui, oui. Ooh. It's called no. No. Well, actually, it's funny you should say that because Scott in his previous life was a Ghostbuster. He used to hunt ghosts before he got into true crime. Whatever floats your boat. Okay. The French I'm just behave yourselves, gentlemen. Chip, good to see you. I did blush. I was determined not to blush this evening, but I feel like there's a few of you that are determined to make me blush. Lord. All right. Back to the program. Jesus. What have I gotten myself into? All right. So, Charmaine last night thought it would be appropriate to bring up conversation between Malehya and her ex-boyfriend that she kicked to the curb a couple of weeks ago. Upon discussion, okay, I'm not looking at the chat. Upon discussions with her, myself, Cheryl, others, and meeting him several times, I think it became clear to everyone, including her, that he wasn't the right one for her. Although he provided her comfort and care at the time, there was a lot of red flags. And she decided to break up with him a couple of weeks ago. And he did not want to take no for an answer. So he decided that he would continually harass her for several weeks, including yesterday while I was there. So much so that he was interrupting a very important day yesterday. And I don't take well to my friends being intimidated or harassed in any way. I do get very defensive. So as he was repeatedly calling her and sending her harassing messages, I said, "Give me your phone." I answered the phone and I told him to leave her alone, to stop messaging her, to stop calling her, and to stop harassing her. And if he didn't, I was going to call the RCMP and he would be charged with harassing her, because a lot of the messages he sent her were extremely inappropriate, rude, insulting, uncalled for, immature, and was exactly the reason why she realized that he was not the guy for her. He showed his true colors. So, if Charmaine thinks it's appropriate to re-victimize someone who's already been through a lot, that says a lot about her. Yet again, a female who is supposed to be, I don't know, how would you say, protecting others, you would think, basically threw her under the bus again. So, Matthias, if you're watching, is that why you went to Charmaine? You decided to do a little low blow when you couldn't get what you wanted? Maybe you should stop posting on Facebook 30 to 40 times a day and get yourself some help. How about that? Otherwise, you might find yourself in a little spot of bother. Luckily, Malehya's got a lot of things going on. Although she is working diligently behind the scenes, working with the RCMP, entrusting them continuously with finding her children. She is also working with dealing with getting Meadow back. And I'm sure a few of you can also imagine the other types of issues that she's dealing with as well. So, with that being said, she is trying to put some positive things in her life. And one of the things that she's decided to do is she is going back to school in September, and she's studying to become a addictions counselor. And not because she herself has had any issues with addiction. This was something that we discussed during the powwow. She was doing it because in her lifetime, she has encountered many people who have suffered from various forms of addiction. And it's something that she feels that she can help with. And she wants to give back to her community and try to help people. And I think it's a great thing for her. It's going to offer her a bit of, I don't want to say distraction in the sense of a negative thing, but something for her positive to focus on while the RCMP do their job. And obviously, in the end, it will be a good career and something that will help her support her family. So I support her 100% with furthering her education. And because she was unable to do so all the time she was with Daniel, because Daniel wouldn't allow it. So that says a lot about him. And I will say, Cheryl is a good friend of mine. I consider Malehya a good friend of mine. It doesn't mean that we see eye to eye on all things. There is a lot of things that we don't see eye to eye on. There's a lot of things that we don't agree on. And that doesn't mean that we can't be friends. And I don't begrudge anyone having their opinion. I've always invited people to debate with me and discuss with me, but there is a limit to that. There is a limit to that. It can be done in a respectful way. And, when people see me on the spicy side, it's because I'm returning the favor to those who dish it out. I will no longer sit by and let people try to destroy me or the people I care about. Not happening. Let me just check a couple more. Yeah, so this guy was like borderline stalking Malehya when she decided that she didn't want to see him anymore. So to put him on a pedestal and to point out his comments on Facebook to enable him to have a platform to do so on a social media is, and it just goes to show you, you don't know people until you get to know them. People make judgments. I made a judgment. I thought, oh, this guy's better than Daniel. He's got to be. He makes her breakfast. But then you get to see the red flags pop up. You know what they do? It's called love bombing. They start out real nice, real smooth, tell you all the things you want to hear, and then slowly turn over time. Lucky for Malehya, she recognized the red flags within a couple of months and kicked his ass to the curb. But as with all narcissists, he did not like that. But yeah, give him a platform, Charmaine. Yeah. Hey, Longheart. Good to see you. John Jingle should be in prison. Who should be in prison? You must elaborate. I do not read minds. Yeah. Damien's been named as my simp, haven't you? Oh, I think it might be the other way around, but what do I know? Yes, she is trying to move forward, not move on. And that is the difference that people don't realize. You can move forward without moving on from something. You need to be able to wake up and put one foot in front of the other to survive trauma like she has. So people need to dig a little deeper and use their brains to realize that trauma is different for everyone. Yes, best to focus on herself and forget about dating, especially because she's attracting the wrong type. Yes. And that's one of the things that Cheryl and I have discussed with her, is that there are types of men out there, in particular because she is, famous is the wrong word, but a public figure, so to speak, not voluntarily. There are certain types who will be drawn to that in order to exploit her in one reason or another. So yeah, advice to her: stay single. These boyfriends can interfere on the baby going back to her. See this as care and concern. Absolutely. And it's not something that Cheryl and I don't disagree with, but who are we to judge? It is difficult to be in that position, and obviously everybody deserves love. So here is number 1. JJ Rossi. You're new to the chat. Oh, must have a dinky car. And then we have Plasma Zombie. Why do you always end up in the vertical chat? Is it because no one's paying attention? All right. Well, bear with me a moment. All right. Breakfast in bed is a big red flag. Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay. You can't be open-minded like that. You will get banned from most channels. Didn't you know there's only one acceptable narrative in this case? Absolutely. That was one thing I did want to touch on as well before I go into the pink blanket. There's been 2 instances recently that have really opened my mind. Not that I am a big supporter of the wandering off theory. It's not my number one theory. However, on a recent search, and it had been several searches, actually, there's been several searches I've been on where somebody has walked off and nothing has been found ever in months, years, or decades. In particular, the search on the weekend that Malehya took part in. I touched a bit about it on the last live. There was ground search and rescue crews there, and that had been there for Jack and Lilly's search. And they mentioned how many resources went into the search for Jack and Lilly. And he said something like 120 searchers over 12 days. Drones, canines, and helicopters, and nothing was found. Well, wouldn't you know that the same scenario is unfolding in Calgary currently? So we have the young boy, Parker Wells, who wandered off from a respite care home and was reported missing relatively quickly. They caught sightings of him on camera even. And Calgary police do deserve the credit where they have been extremely transparent with regards to what has been used, what resources have been used and deployed to look for Parker. In particular, they also use the Topo map, which is something that most ground search and rescuers use here, as well as Please Bring Me Home. And the amount of ground coverage that has been covered for this boy is incredible. Incredible, the amount of man hours and resources, and they haven't found him. It's been 12 days, and they've scaled back the search. So again, a boy who wandered off was seen on camera. They know where his last location was. Calgary police reached out to the government. They altered the legislation in order to issue an Amber Alert, even though it didn't meet criteria. And they implored all Calgarians to look in their own backyard and to search outbuildings and to continue to do so over and over again. So it does happen. It does happen. More times than we would like to admit. Yeah. Yeah. So, Janice. 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 Okay. Where have you been? Where have you been all this time? Because I know she's looked for Jack and Lilly because I've been with her when she has. I know that she communicates and is an open book to the RCMP, who are in charge of looking for Jack and Lilly. So, have you ever met Malehya? Have you ever looked for Jack and Lilly? That would be my question for you, Janice. All right. She is and vulnerable. Absolutely. Yeah. Runs with scissors. You don't come here very often, so I know that you're here to stir the pot, which is fine. Malehya doesn't know what happened, according to Malehya. She wants to believe the most positive outcome that her children will be returned to her, which is a coping mechanism, in my opinion, in order to get through every day. So I don't necessarily have to believe the entire things that she believes to advocate for her. I also have questions with the morning timeline. I would not be a critical thinker if I did not have questions about the morning timeline and how the children went missing in that short period of time and nothing was found. These are some of the things that I don't necessarily see eye to eye with Malehya, or there's some things I don't see eye to eye with Cheryl with regards to some of the way RCMP deals with things. Doesn't mean that we can't get along and brainstorm and try to find the answers as to what did happen. So, you know, I don't believe that they wandered off either. It's not my number one theory. When I first started this channel, the theories were what was initially reported was that they wandered off. The second theory was that Daniel was responsible. The third theory was Malehya was responsible. The fourth theory was that they were both responsible. The fifth theory was that all three of them were responsible. The other theory was that they were abducted. So those are the working theories, I'm sure, that RCMP work with. I may have missed one, so throw it in the chat. You know, I just find it hard to believe after meeting and spending time with Malehya that she would do anything to harm her children. I find it very, very difficult to wrap my head around that. It's, in my opinion, very unlikely. However, there are more likely suspects, in my opinion, should it be deemed criminal. And yes, you're looking for an update? Well, let's talk about the blanket. So there's been a lot of speculation about this pink blanket. So during the powwow yesterday, and again, it was me, Malehya, Cheryl, Angeline, and three of the most intelligent women in Nova Scotia. We were discussing some of the case evidence. So I have permission from Malehya and Cheryl to discuss this particular option, this particular portion of the conversations that were had yesterday. So the pink blanket, which we all know, was to cover a window, then to cover a door. It was the LOL pink blanket. It was, the bottom of it was ripped off. The large portion of the blanket was to keep the draft coming through the front door. When that blanket was ripped, the piece that was ripped was hung over the front banister, railing, however you want to describe it. Basically, the top part of the decking by the front door. It was left there for quite some time. And by quite some time, I mean quite some time. The larger piece, when the weather was getting nicer, not too long before the children went missing, was removed from the front door, put into the garbage, and put into the end of the driveway in the bin. Not the second piece, just the large piece. The second piece remained by the front door, hanging over the banister. Not the back door, not by the back door, the front door. So there is a picture floating around. That appears to show the blanket in the back. And I would say that's AI generated for clicks and views, of course. So from Malehya's mouth, the second piece that was found 1 kilometer down the road was taken and planted from the banister. So why did Daniel, indeed Chip, why did Daniel make a big song and dance of having his brother Justin film him taking the other portion of the blanket out of the bag, and the big song and dance about what color the bag was, and the hand-sized hole at the bottom of the bag that someone must have gone into and pulled the bottom portion of the blanket out through that hole? Why all that song and dance? That portion of the blanket was never in the garbage. It was hanging over the banister until the children disappeared. And why, when the portion of the blanket was shown to Malehya, did Malehya say, yes, that's Lily's blanket? But Daniel said, no, 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 no. I will. So Daniel was very forthcoming to others, saying the blanket was planted. Yeah. So those are Daniel's words. Daniel's words. So he's the one that come out and said that the blanket was planted. He's the one that said, these are all things he said online, on YouTube, for everyone to hear. He's the one that said his brother Justin filmed him showing the blanket at the end of the driveway, and that there was a hand-shaped hole in the bag. And if you remember correctly, there was a big discussion on Sunny's with Kent saying that it was a clear bag, it had to be a clear bag, and they would have seen the blanket in the bag, and somebody must have opened that lid and dove down and ripped a hole in the bag and pulled it out from the bottom of the bag. We don't have proof that it was planted, Cheryl, no, but this is what Daniel has said. So why? There was so much emphasis put by Daniel that that second piece was in the garbage when it wasn't. And he was the first person to say that that blanket was planted. And he was initially the one to say it wasn't Lily's. And he was the one, along with Darren, who said that Haley and Hayden had planted the blanket. Just some food for thought. So if the blanket was on the railing and not in the garbage after all, and there was this big song and dance made about it, what else do you think could have been a deflection? Or what else could have been a song and a dance? That's just my opinion and speculation only. The front door is boxed in. It has a breezeway, you should say. Then there was a deck out the front of that with some steps and a railing. If you recall, there was some old fish tanks out there, some buckets, some totes. So yeah. Is it possible only, that when Daniel was nowhere to be found on Friday, the entire day, when he was out with Earl, out running through the woods, out running helicopters, what was he doing? The blanket was not found until 3:48. People are still running with the narrative that Cindy arrived earlier than she did, that Haley arrived earlier than she did, that Hayden arrived earlier than he did, that Cheryl arrived earlier than she did, that Cheryl was fishing on Gairloch Lake with Shelby and their friend. They were fishing in Brookfield when they got notification that Jack and Lily were missing. They went back to the house, dropped off the fishing gear, went to go get Shelby's children in the opposite direction, and then went to Lansdowne to go and look for Jack and Lily. They were not at Gairloch Lake. That is why they didn't have the fishing gear in the car, and they did not get there until well after noon. There is no pic, Belinda, because the pic that's going around is AI generated, in my opinion. This is coming from Malehya. She's not saying it was planted, but what she's saying is the second piece of the blanket was on the railing in the front, not in the garbage. And she was the one who had said it was Lily's blanket, and Daniel was not. So yeah, I would say that Janie wouldn't notice Jank. Well, we'll look at that, won't we, Belinda? But I'm going to go with the fact that who remembers what happened to the blanket and it wasn't in the garbage. So we know the second piece wasn't in the garbage. I mean, are we going to say that it's very plausible that somebody went into the garbage, put a hole in the bottom of a garbage bag, hand-sized, and pulled out a blanket that was about, 5 foot long by a foot wide out of a hand-shaped hole? That does not sound plausible to me. And why film it? Why not just call the RCMP to come and do it themselves? They did do polygraphs about the blanket. They polygraphed Hayden and Haley because that's where the finger was being pointed. So no, that blanket would have been outside for some time, wet, stinky, gross. Lily wouldn't have taken it. Lily wouldn't have walked a kilometer down the road and thrown it up in a freaking tree. Yeah. Again, it's just one of those things that came up in conversation that just a light bulb goes, well, hang on a minute, because that's something that was said in the beginning. That was something that was said in the very beginning, and Logan shot it down, and Susan from Hidden in the Fog squashed it before it could come out. Because they let Cheryl get railroaded on that channel. And I believe Cheryl handled herself really well in that interview by Susan, because Logan was only brought up to try to discredit her, and she maintained her composure quite well, better than I would have. So he said there were 2 blankets found. Daniel said a lot of things. Daniel has said a lot of things. So I think the first thing I will do is show this clip. I have the transcript up on the right for you, just in case you think there's any shenanigans going on. It's not my style. Maybe the name, but I'm not a bullshit artist. So let me press play. And again, Charmaine, just send the $100 to Please Bring Me Home, please. Let me just turn up the volume here. Make sure I have the volume on because I didn't yesterday. Hold on. Share screen, share screen. Also share the tab audio on. All right.
That donated or the YouTube revenue ads, which it's not a lot that I get. 3,400 versus like 600-700, maybe a little bit more if it's like was Christmas time and stuff like that. And it's like that's like nothing, you know. But if it wasn't for the people that I've done it all the time, I guess nobody wants to hire a 54-year-old. But honestly, it hurts my it really hurts my pride in a sense that if it wasn't for the people that donated or the YouTube revenue ads, which it's not a lot that I get. 3,400 versus like 600-700, maybe a little bit more if it's like was Christmas time and stuff like that. And it's like that's like nothing, you know. But if it wasn't for the people that I all the time, I guess nobody wants to hire a 54-year-old. But honestly, it hurts my it really hurts my pride in a sense that if it wasn't for the people that donated or the YouTube revenue ads, which it's not a lot that I get. 3,400 versus like 600-700, maybe a little bit more if it's like was Christmas time and stuff like that. And it's like that's like nothing, you know. But if it wasn't for the people that have done donations or the YouTube ads or the memberships, like honestly, like for me, like I've worked since I was 8 years old, like literally delivering paper routes. And then I was 13 when I took a job at Harvey's, you know, and I've always worked. So it's really almost it makes me feel that if it wasn't for the people that donated or the YouTube revenue ads, which it's not a lot that I get. 3,400 versus like 600-700, maybe a little bit more if it's like was Christmas time and stuff like that. And it's like that's like nothing, you know. But if it wasn't for the people that have done donations or the YouTube ads or the memberships, like honestly, like for me, like I've worked since I was 8 years old, like literally delivering paper routes. And then I was 13 when I took a job at Harvey's, you know, and I've always worked. So it's really almost it makes me feel
Right. Do I need to play it any more times? And again, not a dig at Sunny. Not a dig at Sunny. I said what I said because she said it. So if you think Grey Wolf, she said sometimes a bit more if it's Christmas time. Here's the thing, because I'm not going to let you slander them on here. It's not please bring me home. It's the people that attach themselves to please bring me home. Like Chrissy Travers, who no longer works there. Like Katrina Sweeney, who was told she couldn't come on the search because she was saying bullshit online. There are reasons why. All right. Why? And this is the problem. When you start talking about stuff that people don't like and you start showing out receipts that people don't want to hear about, people get mad. And again, it wasn't a dig at Sunny. People on YouTube make money. Why do you think they do it? Like, you think A Balance doesn't make money? You think that he's in it for the goodness of his soul? I mean, come on. I told you that my best month, which was when I was doing lives quite regularly, I made 1,400 and I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers at that time. So all I was saying is if you have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 subscribers and you're doing 9-hour lives, the ad revenue is substantial. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you guys want to argue over the porch, over the railing, that's down to you. But what I will say is there was 2 pieces of the blanket, which we all know, and only one piece was in the garbage. And the other piece was over a railing. But again, people will just try to distract from the little things when the biggest part of the subject that I'm trying to show you, to tell you, is that both pieces weren't in the garbage. That's all I wanted to clarify. Both pieces were not in the garbage. One was on the side, one was in the garbage. Nobody put a hand-size hole in the bottom and pulled out the second piece and put it a kilometer down the road. That's what I'm saying. All right. We shall move on to Brooks and the discussion. You're right. I mean, clarification is not arguing, but there's a lot of pictures that are floating around out there. Some of them are AI generated. Some of them are before the kids went missing. Some of them are from during when the kids went missing, and some are from after the kids went missing. People use Google Earth imagery as gospel when they're taken at different dates. So that's all I'm saying. If people are going to go by Google Earth imagery that could have been taken 1 year before the children went missing, 6 months before the children went missing, or August 2025, which was the most recent time they went through the area, those are not relevant. Those are not accurate pictures. Those are not from May the 2nd when the children disappeared. The only people that will likely have that kind of imagery will be the RCMP, who were first on scene on their cameras. So that's all I'm saying. If you see the picture that's going around of it on the rear banister railing, whatever, look for the reflection of it in the glass door. Lucky dice. All right. Now this one's a little spicy. Again, there was a conversation had on crime lines and lies this morning. She did a live, and she had Kent on. And let's just say, I don't think it went according to Kent's plan. So, one moment, please. And again, not a dig at Sunny, not a dig at YouTubers making money. It takes a lot of effort to put into doing lives. There's a lot of memberships involved in doing lives, whether it's StreamYard, whether it's, YouTube Premium, Canva, Suno. There is hundreds of dollars it takes to keep a YouTube channel running every month. So I don't think you're a dummy at all, Mr. Hemme. That's why I keep you around. I do enjoy our debates. Right. Again, not for the children's ears. One moment.
You get out of that situation with your kids.
$37-minute mark.
An issue, go ahead.
I don't have an issue. The only issue is, why are you selling keychains of children that are missing, trying to make money?
What happened to Jack and Lilly? But we've got someone in the background.
Now, Brooks is pretty spicy. I think she's even spicier to me. Grey Wolf, so why bring it up? Elaborate, please. Because I'm pretty fired up and I'd like to know what you mean. Why bring what up? Sunny earning $3,400? Because Charmaine, as usual, likes to discredit me and say that she was going to bet $100 that Sunny never said that, and that basically I was bullshitting. I don't bullshit. If I say something, it's because I've heard it or I've got receipts for it. So Charmaine, you were on that live when she said it. Maybe you have early onset dementia. And Grey Wolf, if you don't like what I'm bringing up, don't watch.
Who is knocking at the door? Okay, I've got people saying RCMP is worthless, things like that. Let's see who's knocking at the door. It's our friend Net, or as I call her, Nettie. She's my Nettie. What are you doing, girlfriend?
Hi, honey. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Great. Oh, great. I just got sorry. I missed, I was late today, but I'm sorry.
Oh,
But I got a lot to say about Mr. Kent.
Oh, dear God, what's going on? I mean, the show's not about him, but if you guys have an issue, go ahead.
I don't have an issue. The only issue is, why are you selling keychains of children that are missing, trying to make money?
I'm not selling keychains.
You were?
Nope.
Oh, you're not the guy in the wheelchair?
Yep.
Yeah, that's you. I know.
But
I'll
I
beat
wasn't
you.
selling the keychains.
You're trying to get your fucking fat face in there everywhere as you can, and you're fucking messing up the investigation.
So am I?
Because you are. You're throwing out shit that's not even relevant. You're talking about CPS didn't fail Jack and Lilly? Are you kidding me?
Did you sell keychains, Kent? I didn't know.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Nope.
Yes, you did, Kent, you liar. You're a liar, just like the rest of them.
Who made the keychains, Kent?
The keychains were made by Lana.
Okay.
Some of them. They had 21
Mm-hmm.
when I took over the fundraising from Lana. and they were all sold on the pre-order when people originally ordered the bracelets.
You're not a very good
And-
liar, kid. You just told on yourself.
And then when we were waiting for the bracelets coming up to the Jack Vigil in October and sending them out because we were waiting to receive the keychains. And if you go back to the video of the vigil, you'll see that Janice and a couple other people, I can't remember who all was at the table, but they were the ones that handled the selling of the keychains that was left.
Oh. No, who needs to sell keychains, Ken? Why don't you fuck off? Why are you guys trying to make money off kids that are missing?
Now, my question is, okay, when you sell the
I'm
keychains.
so mad. I can't stand these lying bunch of bastards.
Okay, all right.
What's your real name?
There's two. Listen, buddy, I live in Halifax, okay? You're a bunch of fucking weirdos out in fucking Pictou. Go fucking diddle some more kids, you cocksucker. Listen, I'm sorry, Brooks. I'm so fucking mad. I am sick of these bunch of fuckers. I'm sick of them.
Let's take
I
it.
knew I'd get emotional. I told you how emotional I am, right?
I know.
And now these people come in and they try to play it off like it's nothing.
TJ's mom said she bought two keychains, but they weren't from Kent. It was from Atlanta. Then she set back. I ended up getting mine mailed from Janice. Who's Janice?
Janice Potty, who was the other person that helped me took over the fundraising when Lana was forced out. And the only thing that I sold, I had the signs, the lawn signs, and I have decals.
Okay,
decals.
Is it true? Is it true that the proceeds from selling things go to Malehya? Or
no.
What is
if there's any money left after the stuff that I was in charge of selling, if there's any proceeds left. Annette, do you want to just talk? Because I can leave Brooke, like if she wants to just go on. If she wants to believe whatever she wants to believe, I can't change her mind.
It's not believing. It's knowing what I know. And
yeah, well, you
I
don't know
see.
fuck all.
Listen, you old bastard. You got no business trying to make money off of kids that are missing.
Who's making money?
Go wash your dirty ass and put on a clean shirt because you're slothy and dirty.
Okay. So the fundraising goes to fund searches, correct?
If there was any proceeds left over, the donation or the proceeds will be donated to Pictou County Ground Search and Rescue.
Oh,
as in the GoFundMe.
But they didn't get nothing yet, right?
Yeah, they got
donated yet.
Yes.
Oh,
they received the $1,000 that Janice's husband's employer donated, and they received half of the GoFundMe, and the other half went to Please Bring Me Home. That
so I want to clarify something. Yes, Brooks does have an X-rated channel. There's been a lot of issues with GoFundMe's with the Jack and Lilly case in the background. And I don't disagree. I don't think there should be GoFundMe's being created for Jack and Lilly, especially for awareness material. large printing companies provide hundreds, 100 printed posters for free for missing children at a time. All sign companies with any integrity will provide signage for missing children at a huge discount. So Kent goes on to say that he paid $17.50 for the small signs, and they were sold for $20, and that was at cost. Well, what Kent fails to realize is that Cheryl's cousin works at that printing company, and that's not what he paid for the signs. The thing is, when you're in a small community, everybody knows everybody. Well, according to Brandon, Kent can afford a lot of things. Nightly visits. This is Brandon, of course. So, if he can afford that, he can afford someone to come and wash his butt. She's not lying. He was on a live promoting signs for Jack and Lilly, and he had Kool-Aid on his face. And again, for all of you coming in, because you heard about me mentioning Sunny, this isn't about Sunny making money. She does work for her money. What I'm saying is, she did say that she earned $3,400 a month. So Charmaine said she didn't. I'm just telling you that she did. And that was in 2024, before Jack and Lilly went missing. And it is none of our business. But when you discuss it online, on your channel, it becomes everyone's business, Corbin. Has anyone ever laid... Once you end up making fun of someone's looks, you lose the battle? Support with Steffa. Were you on Charmaine's live when Melissa American Justice called me a horse-faced bitch? Just wondering. All right for her, though, right? All right for her. This is what I mean about the double standards. All right for everyone to give it out to me, but if I return the favor, it's a big problem. Support with Steffa. You can go back. Hello. You need... So, Charmaine made fun of Cheryl. She has a icon called the Raft of Harley or some crap, because she likes to make fun of how people speak here in Nova Scotia. So again, okay for everyone else, but not okay for me. Just double checking here. Yeah. See, no banana. Do you watch my channels lives from beginning to end? Are you grasping the concept, like the whole context of what I'm saying? Because that's what happens with some of these other channels. They will take a little snippet of what I say, wrap it in their BS, and put it out the way they want. Shall I bring you over to mock the Cox channel and show you what they've written? I will defend myself, and I don't care because they all throw me under the bus because they don't want me out here talking about Jack and Lilly and what happened and about pink blankets and about squashing rumors about Brian Ward and the kids sleeping over there. I don't even like Annette, who is talking on here. She is one of my biggest fans who has nothing nice to say about me. In fact, she goes on to say that I should get tea bags for my under eyes dark circles because I fucking never sleep. But it's okay for everyone to make fun of my looks. It's fine. It becomes a big problem, yes, Chip, when I repeat what other people say. But anyway. Okay. Brandon. Let's do it. Brandon or Anita? Anita's going to give me a headache. I'm going to do a bit of Brandon. I'm not going to do a bit of Brandon, but I'm going to show a bit of Brandon. Because Brandon's not my style. All right. So this is why when everyone says it's not about Jack and Lilly, it's not about Jack and Lilly, it's all just drama. It is drama because there are people behind the scenes that are pushing absolute, utter craziness. He is real. Are you actually kidding me? Grey Wolf, you can go back to their channels. Let me just show. Respect. All respect to you. Get fucked. All right, Brandon. Wolf has seen the door. He can join his buddy Wolfie. Right. Let me bring up. Which one of his emails should I bring up first? Should I bring up the sheepdog? Should I bring up a little sunshine in my eyes? Or his other alias, Lone Wolf? Or his other alias? Which one should I show? They're all from proton.me. Which one's this one? All right. We will go. Yes. From every veteran that I've spoken to, None of them want to be called a hero, except for this guy. So this first email will be the original statement that he got Chrissy to take, and then Chrissy provided that to the RCMP. So this is the original version of events that he gave initially. Then we will go through how it morphed and how he would say, talk about this, make it big, do what I tell you. A wise man once said, I'm only manipulated if I want to be. And I didn't want to be manipulated by Brandon. Anyway, I'm going to put up page 1 of the statement that was sent to me initially. All right. So, prepared by wiped out for RCMP major crimes. Purpose, statement of observation provided for law enforcement review. Date of events, May the 2nd, 2025, as previously discussed with investigator blank. I respectfully submit the following statement. Right. So, it's been 1 hour and 21 minutes. I'm going to go for a little break, and then we're going to come back and read the rest of this statement. And then we're going to go over all the different things he sent me afterwards. And then we're going to go over the cease and desist he sent me after I wouldn't put it out. And I began questioning why all of the statements he was giving me were different. The names were different. The color of the people were different. The color of the vehicles were different. And why he didn't want to meet me for coffee when I said I was going to bring Damien. So we'll be back. We're going to take a little short intermission so I can have a little smoky. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I think I will put on, I think what I'll do, mods, Misty in particular, can you keep an eye on the chat? Make sure that no one comes in with any BS, please and thank you. No holds barred, just ban them. Yeah, I agree, Cheryl. And we had this conversation today that it's very difficult for me because this is not what I wanted for my channel, but being nice didn't work. Ignoring it didn't work. And there is, I would say, an organized effort to shut me down. So I will scroll down for this so that other people can read it. Right, 4 minutes, guys. Think
like to be like me, and no one knows but me. Thinking about you in a way it's so hard. Wonder what you'd have to say if you sent us a card. Ooh, sometimes I feel like I'm in a play and I don't know my part. Maybe if we meet again, I can make a start. Still wasn't so cold in this part of my mind. My mind closed over and I lied. The weight on my shoulders, the thorn in my side. It's taking me slowly to the borderline. It was so long ago, but still I'm traumatized. I don't even know the light before my eyes. The weight on my shoulders, the thorn in my side. No one knows what it's like to be like me. And no one knows the effect it had on me. And no one knows what it's like to be like me. And no one knows but me. Think about you every day, where you are.
All right, sorry, I'm trying to do like 15 things. All right, who's misbehaving in the chat? Well, the problem is, run with scissors, is that there's a lot of trolls. And when I start talking about stuff they don't want me to talk about, they all come in. So it's a distraction technique, and I'm not really fond of it. And I'm not really fond of other people's mods that criticize me being in my chat either. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So this was the first statement that I received. The morning of May 2nd, upon hearing this, okay, hold on, let me go to the beginning here. I became aware of a vulnerable persons report involving 2 missing children via local radio communications on the morning of May the 2nd. Red flag number 1. Upon hearing this report, I voluntarily decided to attend the Lansdowne Road area to assist in searching for the children. I entered the area via Montreal Road and turned left onto Lansdowne Road at approximately 10:30 a.m. Red flag number 2. As I proceeded along Lansdowne Road, I observed 2 vehicles parked on the side of the roadway. One was a silver 4-door Honda Civic. No mention of a second vehicle at this point. Near this vehicle stood a large adult male who approached visibly nervous and was watching my approach. At approximately the same time, I observed a young adult female run out of the wooded area. Oh, typo. Looks like whoever wrote this up didn't type it properly. Shocking. I observed a young observed a young adult female run out of the wooded area near an ATV trail. Interesting. She descended into the roadside and entered the rear seat of a dark-colored four-door vehicle. So no mention of maroon, wine-colored, or whether it was a sedan, or whether it was an SUV, or what type of vehicle it was. I do not recall the make or model of that vehicle. At that moment, my attention was primarily focused on the male standing beside the silver Honda Civic. The male motioned for me to pull over. This is red flag number 3, because if you watched the conversation on A Balance on where the vehicles were parked and where these people came from, this is impossible. He appeared anxious and shaky. He asked me whether I was police. I replied I was not, and I was there to help the search for the missing children. He then stated words to the effect of, "Oh, she found a pink shirt," and gestured toward a nearby tree. He walked me toward the location, then immediately disengaged from the interaction without further explanation, returned to his vehicle and performed a U-turn and departed down Lansdowne Road in the direction of Montreal Road. So here he is saying the vehicles were parked on Lansdowne Road, but AB on his map placed them off Lansdowne Road, up a trail, which is a hill in which he wouldn't have seen them when he was driving down Lansdowne Road. Red flag what, number 4? I remained briefly at the indicated location and examined what appeared to be a bright pink shirt hanging in a tree. The shirt appeared clean, dry, and new looking, and it did not appear weathered or soiled. Based on its positioning and condition, it appeared to me to have been intentionally placed in the tree. I also observed a blue rag hanging alongside the shirt. We've shown these images, and RCMP disregarded them because they are still there to this day. I then continued driving down Lansdowne Road towards the stop sign. At or near the stop sign, I observed a vehicle parked there. This was the same vehicle positioned in front of the silver Honda Civic just minutes ago. As I drove up alongside this vehicle, I noticed a young woman leaning alongside this vehicle. I noticed a young woman leaning out of the rear driver's side window. So he noticed a young woman leaning alongside the vehicle, and he noticed a young woman leaning out of the rear driver's side window. She appeared to be in her early 20s with long, straight, dark brown hair and a tanned complexion. She was waving and smiling, which prompted me to pull alongside the vehicle and speak with her. This person then morphs into Emily, but before that it was Jenna Jowdry, both of which are not tanned and are not in their early 20s. They are in their teens. Anyway, upon engaging in conversation, the first question she asked me was, "Are you the police?" I responded I was not the police and that I was there to assist with searching. Keep in mind, this is 10:30 a.m. and the RCMP would have only arrived 3 minutes prior. I then asked what they were doing in the area. She replied, "We are too. We are family from Truro." I acknowledged her response, wished them luck, and the interaction ended. I'm just going to go back to chat here. Emily looks 13 and she's whiter than white. Is she not? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. RCMP have multiple times said that witness statements are valuable. They are not reliable because people are human and make mistakes. Right. I'll go back to the chat. I still say he was coached and told to delete everything he originally posted and hide the changes. Well, this is why I'm going back to square one. It's always important to go back to the beginning and compare. And Emily, yes, looks very young. So you're saying she looks like jailbait? She is. Yeah, basically. All right. During this interaction, I observed that the two adult males seated in the front of the vehicle did not speak, nor did they turn around or acknowledge my presence at any point. I found this behavior unusual. So no mention of having his face covered, of him being a large, built like a brick shit house, partially black man. Just saying. Afterwards, the vehicle turned right at the stop sign and proceeded down Stewiacke Road at approximately 10:45. In hindsight, I found it unusual that individuals who identified themselves as family from Truro would leave the search area at that time and travel in the direction of Truro via the back route, particularly given the proximity to the children's trailer. I would also like to clarify information circulating regarding evidence reportedly found at that location. Contrary to what has been stated, I did not observe any portion of a blanket being located there. I personally observed a pink shirt placed in a tree at that location. At this time, the pink shirt appears to be unaccounted for. Well, the pink shirt and blue item were seen by the RCMP and discounted when the blanket was found. They were still there the next day when the crew went out and they were told it was irrelevant. It was still there on the first search done by Please Bring Me Home in November, and it was there on subsequent searches. And in fact, it was still there in April on a search that I was on. I later provided these details in full to Dylan. At the time of my initial report, I was not asked to attempt identification of the individuals involved. It was not until I began working with a private investigator and lawyer that I was asked to review photographs for identification purposes. Right, because they're the RCMP and they should be reviewing photographs. Right, okay. Over the course of several months, I reviewed several hundred photographs. Through this process, I identified the male associated with the silver four-door Honda Civic as Alvin Brian McKenzie, who resides on Montreal Road. The young woman who ran out of the woods shortly after my interaction with the man in the silver Honda Civic, was later identified as Jenna Jowdry. Regarding the female I spoke to in the vehicle, I am approximately 90% confident that Jenna Jowdry matches her appearance. However, I was also shown another photograph of a female who similarly matched the description. As of this time, that individual has not been identified. At the time of the incident, I was unaware of the identities of any of these individuals or any of the familiar relationships between them. On the morning of May 2nd, none of these observations raised immediate concern for me as I did not understand the nature of the situation. There was no police presence on Lansdowne Road at that time, and I was unaware of the location of the parents or the trailer until later that day. Well, when you get to the corner of Lansdowne and the 289, you would see the RCMP there. One moment. I need to go put a pizza in the oven. One moment, please. So I'm going to ask what you all think so far of what you're hearing. It's not delivery, it's Delicio. It is Delicio. How did you know, Hemi? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Cool J. Sorry to hear that, Christy. Sending you positive and healing vibes. I love. The reason why I'm doing this is because you will see later on from the emails I receive from a certain someone that I was being pushed to put these things on my live. And I did not want to do so because it didn't add up to me. And I don't like being told what to do. And when I didn't do what he told me to do, he got upset. Hey, Rena, good to see you. Hope you're well. Okay, there was no police presence on Lansdowne Road at that time, and I was unaware of the location of the parents or the trailer until later that day. The only aspect I found unusual at the time was the early presence of individuals identifying Chowdhury. Regarding the female I spoke to in the vehicle, I'm approximately 90% confident that Jenna Chowdhury matches her. Okay, seems to be a repeat. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Whoever typed this out repeated and needs to work on their editing skills. But anyway, the presence and disappearance of the pink shirt, as well as the involvement of those 4 individuals, continued to concern me. For that reason, I felt it was important to formally document and report these observations. So that was the official written statement typed up by Chrissy and given to the RCMP. So as you can see, my initial thoughts were, this doesn't make any sense. I will go to the next email. So each time I would be sent something, it would be from a different email address at proton.me, and then I would be blocked from that email. So the next one is from Lone Wolf. No, sorry, the sheepdog. Sorry. You don't know me, although we have corresponded several times. There is a reason for that. I will say I like your show. I'm not Daniel Durwood or the PI or even the lawyer, to be clear. I'd love to say I am, but I can't. It would collapse the integrity of this case. So I'm going to message a YouTuber and talk to them about it. Yes, I am somewhat affiliated with Ellie, which is why the secrecy. Now I'm going to say something. You can choose to share it or not, preferably not the email. And yes, Ellie has it all, law enforcement, but the public does not. So here it is. Ask Darren Geddes, who Alvin McKenzie was with on May the 2nd. Ensure you know about the meeting with Alvin McKenzie this week, January 2026. Ask why Eli, to ask Eli, which I'm not going to do. Lucky dice. No more tag teaming. All right, next email. All right, so the next one was, so that was sheepdog. I think the next one was a little sun. All right. A little sun on my face at proton.me. Explore Core, good to see you. Share screen. Here we go. All right. I've seen your live, well, most of it from yesterday. I like Damien's comment about people with information coming forward. We're on the same page. In regards to the kids' case, I have a few things I will share with you. Things you may have heard over the last 9 months, some maybe not, and some very likely you have not. Firstly, I know it's not out there a lot, but I think the leaked statement should be covered by someone because it's a massive piece of this case. I won't say my name because I know you know who I am, so we can leave it at that. That was leaked originally for the purpose to try and get folks talking about who was in the 2 vehicles. It did work for Alvin and scared Alvin and Darren Geddes to the point they actually met at the Westville Tim Hortons to discuss this. The problem is, even though Alvin stated it was Emily Oakley that was the female seen in the vehicle and possibly Hayden in the front, this has never been confirmed. None of them will respond to it. If it was them, this goes directly against their official statement. Just yesterday, I spoke with a certain family member to the kids and grandmother who wanted to tell me after talking to someone else, she confirmed it was Emily and Hayden. However, the driver of the vehicle is not known. So if it was them in the other vehicle stating we are from Truro, why lie to the RCMP? If it wasn't them, then who the fuck was it? And why were they there before the RCMP was even on Lansdowne Road? Well, why were you there before the RCMP were there? I mean, that's a good question, right? If they were there, why were you there to see them there? Curious. What were they doing in the woods at the brand new, perfectly clean pink girl's shirt that was hung in a tree? I will say I was inches away from the shirt. It was the first thing I noticed, having kids myself, and because of the conditions. The fact it was perfectly clean, no mud stains, no wet, and it was soaking wet out. Also, a child was putting it in the tree as it was. What's also very interesting is the fact that the photos of the shirt was never released by RCMP because it was irrelevant and it wasn't in the tree. It was on the ground with a blue rag. In many YouTube lives, I've seen the black and white RCMP SUVs parked there by the trail leading up to the woods, but till this day, it's not discussed. I believe it's because they know it was planted, which begs the question, why plant it? Indeed. Why would you want to throw off the searchers and investigators? Why indeed? We all know why. No, now I will say I've seen thousands of photos of folks before the official statement was given. But you said it was after. And only 2 people fit the description of the girl seen. Those 2 are Jenna Jowdry and Emily Ogle, which both have connections to the family and crime. Also not known is about the diaper dump found on the Old Lairg Cemetery Road. The road just before Daniel's trailer. On May 28th, I found a massive pile of infant and baby diapers. Across the 4x4 trail in the woods, maybe 30 meters, was a pink girl's shirt with baseballs on it. I took videos and photos and immediately contacted the major crimes and Sunny and other people and shared these things. That night, it was all picked up. They didn't leave a single fiber behind. This is not public knowledge, but I'm giving it to you, a YouTuber, hoping that you'll put it out. Now, bear in mind, this was given to me in January, okay? In January. I know the shirt photo was leaked and it did not go anywhere, but I can confirm it was legit. We know Daniel was dumping the kids' diapers there. Also, I will confirm a tip came in about Daniel's fake little fishing hole. It falls across from St. Andrew's Church by the graveyard. There was a torn pair of female underwear, torn in half and bloody. Next to it was a very small boy's black and white root sock. Looked newer and had small white grippies on it. I'm going to pause there for a moment. So if this information, which I do not believe is relevant, accurate, or true, in my opinion, why are you sharing it with YouTube